This week's daily dose learning is sponsored by the Kordovani family. Ne'edu Nishmat Ephraim ben Yedidia, Ruach Adonai Tinechenu b'Gan Eden. Last week, Baruch Hashem, we had to make a siyum. We finished the first chapter of first parak of Masechet Berachot in the Mishnah. We're starting today in Siman Tov. We're starting chapter 2, parak Bet. Who wants to read? No? Chao, go for it. Haya koreh b'Torah v'higia zeman hamikra. A person was reading Torah. He was koreh b'Torah means he was actually reading Torah. You know, sitting in the mornings like they used to do. Early in the morning, he'd wake up with a chumash. He was reading Torah, and he gets to the part of Shema Yisrael. And right now happens to be the time of Shema Yisrael. So he reads Shema Yisrael. Is he fulfilling the mitzvah of Shema Yisrael, or is he not fulfilling the mitzvah of Shema Yisrael? So what does the Mishnah say? The Mishnah says, according to this Mishnah, Im kiven libo yatsa. If you had kavanah, that you're saying, I'm going to fulfill the mitzvah of reading Shema Yisrael, yatsa, then you fulfill the mitzvah. But im lav, but if you're just reading the Torah and then you got the Shema Yisrael and you read through Shema Yisrael, lo yatsa. You don't fulfill the mitzvah of Shema Yisrael. You have to have, it's not just about reading it, it's about, you have to have intent whenever you read Shema Yisrael that you're fulfilling the mitzvah. In general, there's a very, very famous debate. There's a very famous debate in general when it comes to mitzvot. Mitzvot tzrichot kavana, mitzvot enan tzrichot kavana. When you perform a mitzvah, in order to fulfill a mitzvah, such as tefillin, you have to have kavana whenever you are saying it, that you're doing it. When you're doing it, you have to have kavana that you're doing it, the shir mitzvah tefillin, and I'm doing it, fulfilling it for the purpose. There are opinions that if you don't do it you don't have it in mind, you didn't fulfill the mitzvah. You didn't do it. The halacha in general is mitzvot enan tzrichot kavana. Mitzvah does not need to have kavana. However, even those opinions that say mitzvah does not need to have kavana, they will tell you that that's only when there's a mitzvah that you're doing in action. You're doing the mitzvah, you're holding a shofar, you're holding a lulav, you're putting on tefillin. Where even if you don't have kanak, what are you putting on tefillin for? You have a different reason that you're putting on tefillin? And when it comes to something that you're reading, for example, you have to have kavanah. When you're saying tefillah, right? Well, what's tefillah without kavanah? The whole purpose of tefillah is you have in mind, I'm standing in front of Hashem. You're standing in front of Hashem, and it's a real conversation that you're having. These are real words that you're saying. It's not a magical spell that you're reciting and you're hoping for some magic to happen by itself. You're speaking to Hashem, so you have to have kavanah whenever you say tefillah. When it comes to Shema Yisrael in particular, Rambam's opinion is at the very minimum the first pasuk. Minimum, the person has to have kavanah. The first pasuk when he says Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad, he has to know that he's speaking about Hashem. He's saying we're stating our beliefs about Hashem, and you have to have kavanah when you say it. It's not enough to just read through it. I also want to, just for the younger guys especially, I want to teach you guys something about Mishnah over here. Look at the language. Anytime you see the language is like this is not speaking about an ideal situation. Meaning, many times you have the Mishnah, it will sometimes give you the ideal situation. Sometimes it will give you a diavad situation. It will give you a non-ideal situation, and then it's going to say, did you fulfill the mitzvah or did you not fulfill the mitzvah? So anytime you see the language yatsa or you see the language lo yatsa, yatsa means you fulfilled the mitzvah, but it means it's not that this is the ideal way of doing it. The ideal way is not that you should read it and by chance when you get to Shema Yisrael, you should go read it. Anytime in Mishnah, anytime when it says yatsa, you fulfill the mitzvah, it doesn't mean the chatchila, it doesn't mean that that's the way you should do it. It means happens to be you ran into that situation and that's why you were doing it. The opinion here is that you fulfill the mitzvah. The opinion here is lo yatsa, or you didn't fulfill the mitzvah. Yatsa and lo yatsa. Yatsa always speaks about the avar. It never speaks about lechatchila. It always speaks, if it happened, you fulfill the mitzvah. But it doesn't mean that this is the way to do the mitzvah. Okay? Then we get into a very, very important topic in the Mishnah, and that is, everybody always asks about this, when can I interrupt? I'm reading now, Shema Yisrael. Am I allowed to interrupt Shema Yisrael for something, or am I not allowed to interrupt? So in general, of course, we're not allowed to interrupt, but are there situations where I should interrupt? Where something comes up? Huh? So here we're going to talk about it. Baperakim. So here we're going to have the opinion of Rabbi Meir. We have a machloket now. Two opinions, Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda. The first one says, I'm going to discuss who they are in a minute, but because we'll go in order of the Mishnah. The Mishnah says, Rabbi Meir, his opinion is, Baperakim, if you are between paragraphs, you always have to look in Shema Yisrael. Am I in the middle of something? Am I in the middle of a pasuk? Or am I between the paragraphs of Shema? Or between the paragraphs of the Berachot of Shema? Sho'el mipeneh hakavod u'meshiv. So Rabbi Meir, he says that if you are between paragraphs, and the next Mishnah will define the between paragraphs, but let's say very similar. You finish, you didn't start b'haya yet. And then you have someone who you have to respect, hakavod. Right? Someone you have to honor. So you have, someone older than you comes, someone respectable in the community comes, a Rav comes, your father comes, your mother comes, whoever it is, someone comes to see you. Sho'el mipnei hakavod. Out of respect, you can stop and you can ask them. You can say Shabbat Shalom. You can say How are you? You can say mipnei hakavod if it's someone that you have to respect. Umeshid, and of course, if they ask you, also you can stop and you can answer them in the middle of Shema Yisrael. Uva'emsa, Rabbi Meir says, if you're in the middle of a pasuk though, you don't stop. Sho'el mipnei hayirah, only if you have yirah. Now this is a big question in what yirah means. Yirah means fear or reverence. So there are those who say, according to Rambam, yirah specifically means someone you are afraid of, scared. Yirah, you're afraid someone might kill you, or you're afraid someone might hurt you in some way if you don't answer. So, someone who's scary, who you're afraid of. You stop in the middle of Shema Yisrael and you answer. The big question on Rambam's opinion is that's with any mitzvah basically. Almost any mitzvah. If you're afraid of someone who's gonna kill you or hurt you, you stop in the middle and you answer. So there were those, the Rashba and others, that they said that yirah over here does not mean yirah that you're afraid of someone. It means reverence. It's someone that you revere. And it's someone that the Torah commands you to have yirah for, to have that extra degree of respect and reverence for their word, that you wouldn't speak against them. So your father comes, or Rav of the community comes, or a Rav comes, or a person who has to fear, that the Torah says yirah mimenu, you have to fear from, even your mother also. So it says the same thing in the Torah. Ishimo v'aviv tirau. So that's who it's talking about. Those it's a higher level. Even in the middle, you can stop and you can, according to Rabbi Meir, you can ask them and you can also answer them. But we're going to see that halakha is not going to be like Rabbi Meir. Who was Rabbi Meir? You know? Who was Rabbi Meir? Yeah, Rabbi Meir. Has he learned in yeshiva? So here, remember we mentioned at the very beginning when I spoke about the Mishnah, the majority of the Mishnah was put together, and the majority of the Rabbanim in the Mishnah were the 5 students of Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva, after Bar Kokhba, at the end of the Bar Kokhba rebellion, Rabbi Akiva had 24,000 students. He had 24,000, all of them died and during the time of Bar Kokhba's revolt. At the end of after 24,000 students died, he didn't give up. He had 5 students left, and he trained them, and they taught the Torah, and they preserved the Torah, and they were the ones who started the project of writing the Mishnah and collecting, they went all around Israel to try to collect every tradition that they could find so that they could remember it and so that they record it, and they put it in the Mishnah, and they started the project of editing and putting together the Mishnah, which was eventually completed. It was finished in the next generation by Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. But the main people who did the work were Rabbi Akiva and his 5 students. So we're going to deal with 2 of the students over here. You have Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Akiva, who were 2 of Rabbi Akiva's students who were left at the end. There are 2 of the great, And Rabbi Yehuda was going to be the next one in the Mishnah. Both of them were Talmidim, were students of Rabbi Akiva. They are the names that you see in the Mishnah, more than all the other names. Rabbi Meir, he was known as Rabbi Meir Baal Hanes. Yes, sorry, this is Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir is Rabbi Meir Baal Hanes. Why was he called Rabbi Meir Baal Hanes? So what were the Nisim? So there's a story in the Gemara, in Masechet Avodah Zarah. Rabbi Meir, his father-in-law was Rabbi Chanina ben Teradion. His sister-in-law was captured at the hands of the Romans, and they put her. Anytime they capture a girl, they put her to be in a situation of prostitution. Rabbi Meir said, "I'm going to go save her." And he goes to this place to go save her, and first he wants to find out, did she keep herself pure or did she not keep herself pure? So he goes and he pretends that he wants to be with her. And what does she say? She says, "I'm in the time of my nidah, it's not a good time." He realized from that she was always pushing people off in that way. That she was always saying, it's not the right time for it. It's not the right time for it. She says, "She's pure, I have to save her." He goes to the officer with money, with a bribe. He says, I'm gonna give you, he says, "Please let her free." He says, "Okay, I'm gonna let you free, but I have bosses. What am I gonna do?" He says, "I'm gonna give you money, you bribe her." And he says, "But what happens when the money runs out? I'm going to keep on giving them. What's going to be whenever the money is? They have to report to their bosses also." So he says, "Don't worry about it." He says, "Just say, I give you the formula, say, Elaha de Meir Aneni." You just say, Elaha de Meir Aneni. It says, the God of Meir Aneni. There's different interpretations what he meant. Did he mean himself or be Meir? Or did he mean something else by the word Meir? But he said, Elaha de Meir Aneni. Say, Elaha de Meir Aneni. That's how it was. He was eventually captured, this officer, and he said, Elaha de Meir Aneni, and then he was saved from being killed at the hands of his superior. So it was from this story that they say that they called him Rabbi Meir Baal Hanes. What does the word Meir mean? Meir means he enlightens the world. But in general, however, Rabbi Meir, halacha was most of the time was not like him. Even though Stam Mishnah Rabbi Meir, most of the time halacha was not like him. And the Gemara, it says, you know why halacha is not like him? It says he was so smart that people couldn't get to the end of what he was thinking. People couldn't understand fully what his opinion was, because he had the opinion that anything that was ta'or, he could find a way to say it was tameh. Anything that was tameh, it could be ta'or. He could find a way to say that it was ta'or. Lo yadu, so they couldn't fully. He was smarter than everybody, and they couldn't fully understand where his thought and where his opinion was getting to. So lo yadu l'sof da'ato. Because of that, the halakha was generally not. Also over here, Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda, halakha is always like Rabbi Yehuda. There's a clause, there's a rule. Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda, halakha ki Rabbi Yehuda. Halakha is always, in general, yes, that's always the rule. Halakha ki Rabbi Yehuda. Who was Rabbi Yehuda? Rabbi Yehuda was Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Ilai. He was the other student of Rabbi Meir. They were students of Rabbi Akiva together. He was also one of the last students of Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Yehuda was the opinion, if you know the story, one of their friends was also Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and Rabbi Yosef. The story that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai escaped from the Me'ara, that he escaped from the cave, that he had to escape to the cave, it started out with the 3 of them. His 3 friends, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, sorry, they had a conversation about the Romans and how the Romans are. And Rabbi Yehuda said the Romans are great. They built bridges and they built beautiful bathhouses and they built beautiful places for people to use. Rabbi Yosef didn't say anything. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said, no, they're selfish. They only used it for themselves. They only had negative intentions when they believed it. The Romans found out about this conversation. They went after Rabbi Shimon. They went after Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai to run away. But Rabbi Yehuda was the one that he said positive about the Romans. He looked for the positive. He always looked for the positive, and he said the positive about the Romans, even though the Romans were persecuting the Jewish people. He said the positive about them. He earned a degree of respect. Rosh Hamedim Hamdabrim B'chol Makom, they say about him. And also, he stood by that. He had a principle that he said, Le'olam yeheh da'ato shel adam me'orevet im habriyot. He says, a person should always be at peace with people. He should always be on good terms with everybody around him. Shouldn't always be argumentative. Shouldn't always be making trouble. Shouldn't always be that person that people are afraid to talk to him because he's always starting some kind of argument. The person, someone should always be. You should always be on good terms with people. You should always be at peace with people. You shouldn't be starting machloket. You shouldn't be saying things to make people uncomfortable around you. You should always be on good terms with the people around you. This was Rabbi Yehuda, and this was the way, and because of that, he was respected by all of his friends, and this was the path that Rabbi Yehuda Rabbi Eli took. So what did he say? You also see it a little bit over here, because he's in a way going to be more lenient than Rabbi Meir. In a sense, he's stricter.
I told him, even if you take I told him 2 minutes is better than nothing. Come. I didn't think I'd do it.
So Rabbi Yehuda said, Ba'emsa, this is the halacha. If you're in the middle of reading Shema Yisrael, Rabbi Yehuda said, Sho'el mipnei ha'yirah. If someone that you revere, let's say Shulchan Aruch follows the opinion of the Rashba, that if it's someone that, like someone's father, someone's mother, someone's rabbi came, someone that the Torah says you have to revere and have respect for. They come in the middle of, while you're in the middle, literally in the middle of the psukim, you can ask them, Sho'el mipnei ha'yirah, you can ask them, you can even stop in the middle and you can say, how are you, how's everything, stop in the middle of Shema Yisrael. But you shouldn't, umeshiv mipnei ha'kavod. Also he says, that if someone that you have to honor, someone older than you comes, someone that you respect, if they come and they, in the middle of Shema Yisrael, you're not going to stop to ask them, you're not Sho'el, but Meshiv, if they come and they ask you, hi, how are you today, how's everything, you can stop and you can answer them. You can answer them in order to give them that respect, and then you continue Shema. You don't continue a long conversation with them. You say Shalom Aleichem, you say Shabbat Shalom, you say, you give them that respect, and you continue with Shema Yisrael. He's more lenient than Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yehuda's opinion is more lenient. Rabbi Meir did not say that you could answer someone out of honor. Rabbi Yehuda says you can answer someone out of honor. But prakim, if you are between paragraphs, which we'll define them tomorrow, but let's say you finish, you didn't start B'haya yet. Sho'el mipnei ha'kavod, as he agrees with Rabbi Meir, that if someone who you have to honor comes, you can stop yourself and you can initiate. You can say Shabbat Shalom, right? Because you have to respect them. If there's someone that you have to honor or look up to, part of your job is to stop and to honor them. So if that person is coming to you in the middle of Shema Yisrael, you don't stop. But if you're between paragraphs, you stop and you say, hi, how are you today? That's part of the respect you give them. And what is he saying? Umeshiv shalom lechol adam. He says, if someone comes to you, you always answer them. Anybody, even someone with less, because it was Rabbi Yehuda's opinion.
But it doesn't go, no?